Hello everyone. The reserve that you are visiting is part of the Ingwe Leopard Research. So here's a bit more about this project. In 2007, Will and Carol Fox created on-track safaris to help fund their work in conservation and to offer guests an immersive safari experience. They then created in 2014 On-Track Foundation that receives the net profit from On-Track Safari and funds wildlife conservation programs, of which Ingwe Leopard Research is the main one. Ingwe was initially funded in 2011, but then Will and Carol took over and it is now fully funded by the On-Track Foundation. So here's a bit more about Will and Carol. So they are wildlife conservationists. They've been in the field for many years, becoming specialists. They formed the Protecting African Wildlife Conservation Trust to support wildlife conservation and community education. Will is the former director of Wild Earth Media, producing live wildlife safari TV shows. On-Track Safaris receive the World Responsible Travel Awards for their work in conservation. And Will is the fellow of the Royal Geographical Society and a visiting research fellow with Reading University in the UK. So here's some information about leopards. So leopards have disappeared from 67% of their historic range in South Africa. And according to the Habitat Suitability Index, about 20% of South Africa is considered to be suitable leopard habitat. As you can see on the map, Limpopo Province, Western Cape, a bit of the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal are the areas with the highest Habitat Suitability Index. But what is important to notice is that only 25% of suitable habitat is actually inside protected areas, meaning that the other 75% is outside protected areas. Regarding population, according to the IUCN Red List, which is the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, leopards are considered vulnerable with a decreasing population worldwide. In South Africa, there's a national decline of 16%, and in some regions like in KwaZulu-Natal, it is up to 40%. The population estimates ranges between 2.8 and 11.6 thousand individuals, which is a really wide range, of which 60% are mature male and females. Now let's talk about threats. So the main one is habitat fragmentation, as it is with many species. Then there is human-wildlife conflicts that leads to retaliation through illegal killing, that can be from shooting or from poisoning, that is also affecting many other species like vultures, for example. And then there is a legal issue of damage causing animal permits by the government. Snares are another big problem. Although initially they are targeting bushmeat, they also capture many predators and other animals, even like elephants or wild dogs. Then we have trophy hunting cutters. So although they are not a lot being delivered anymore, they are not evenly distributed between the different regions. And then finally, there is also illegal hunting for skins. This is mainly done in KZN by the Shambay community that are using the leopard skin for cultural regalia. But luckily, solutions are being offered to them where fake fur is being provided. So now I want to give you a bit more insight about what was Ingwe in the past and what is it at the moment. So in the past, camera traps were being used by researchers to do population estimates, understand habitat preferences, and look at movement between the different reserves that were being surveyed. They also looked at scat samples to determine presence, to understand the diet of the leopards, and they took blood samples for genetic analysis. All of this resulted in the publication of a PhD by Dr. Tara Pieri to leopards being rescued from human-wildlife conflict and to awareness raising. So, what is Ingwe today? So first, this is me on the right side. So I'm the project manager and the conservation ecologist for the Ingwe Leopard Research. I have an MSc in conservation and restoration of biodiversity. And I've developed and managed research and conservation projects in the Mediterranean Sea, the Pacific Ocean, and in the African savanna. I was also a camp manager for 3 years in the Okavango Delta, Botswana. So the aim of Ingwe now is to bridge the gap between the safari industry and conservation organization in order to conduct long-term monitoring on wildlife. The reason behind is because the safari industry is the only one who has constant and long-term access to information on wildlife. So I want us to work together. My aim is to mainly work with reserves that are not inside protected areas, to encourage citizen science, to utilize wildlife photographs for conservation purpose and to use technologies to reduce cost and optimize results. The expected outcome of Ingwe is not to enhance population estimates and understand distribution. As I mentioned earlier, the population estimates ranges from 2.8 to 11.6 thousand, so there is a lot to do to actually minimize this range. Then I'm also hoping to provide information to landowners and to the authorities in order to facilitate reasoned decisions by policymakers. With such a result, we could have a look at the number of hunting quotas delivered, for example, and also find better places to install wildlife corridors that will allow leopards and other wildlife to be able to move more freely from one area to another. And then finally, I'm also hoping to do peer-reviewed publication. So now I want to give you a bit more insights on the technology that we are using for the project. The first one is SMART. SMART stands for Spatial Monitoring and Reporting Tool. It is used worldwide by conservation organizations such as Panthera, WWF, and the Wildlife Conservation Society. It was initially designed to help anti-poaching operation, but they recently developed an interface for ecological monitoring, and they have also developed a mobile app that can be downloaded from the Play Store. So this is an example of how the app looks like. So with the app, you can take pictures of the leopards that's going to be used later on for individual identification. Then we can record the number of males, females, young, or if you don't know, you can also put the number of individuals that you don't know the sex or the age. And then it is possible also to enter the ID of that individual if it's known by the guide. Any other comments can be added, like for example, on an impala kill. So all of this are information that your guide is going to be recorded when you're going out on drive. So now I'm going to present the African Carnivore Wild Book. So it uses a trained artificial intelligence algorithm that was developed by WildMe, and ICW was created by a Canadian NGO called Tech for Conservation, and it focuses on the top African carnivores, which are lions, cheetahs, leopards, hyenas, and wild dogs. And it allows for individual identification using patterns recognition. So all the photographs submitted on the Smart mobile app and by guests are uploaded on ACW for individual identification. Each leopard identified has its own ID kit, which helps to know about the leopard population. So on the right side is an example of how the AI works. So when uploading a picture on ACW, it will compare this picture with a whole database, and we'll compare right flanks with right flanks, front picture with front picture. And then the AI is going to give a score that will tell you if this leopard on the right side is the same as the one on the left side. So on the top here is an example where the AI believes that this leopard actually belongs to this, these images actually belong to the same individual, and it shows where you can see the spots being similar between both images. The AI also works well with poor image quality, as you can see below. These are camera-trap images taken at nighttime, but yet the AI was strong enough to be able to determine that the leopard on the right is the same as the leopard on the left. So that's a really useful tool for conservationists and help us gain a lot of time. So how can you support the project? Well, first, you can travel with on-track safaris to 9 different countries and spread the word about its impact on wildlife conservation. Remember, all the benefits go to the foundation. Or you can donate directly to the On Track Foundation to ensure the long-term success of the research. It will help us expand the project by reaching to more reserves and encourage buy-in with on-site visits. You can also follow us on Instagram and show your support by sharing our posts. This helps spread the word about the project and can encourage more reserves to join. And finally, you can subscribe for free to our newsletter to read monthly updates, or you can choose a paid subscription to have access to preliminary results, to learn more about wildlife conservation through blog posts and much more. So you are now welcome to scan this QR code to save all the links that were shown at the bottom of the previous slide. So you will have access to the website for On Track Safaris, to the foundation website. You will have the name of the Instagram page, and finally the link of the newsletter. You will also have access to my email address and to my phone number. So please, if you have images of leopards that you would like to submit to help us with the project, don't hesitate to send them through WeTransfer or any other means that is suitable to you, and send them directly to my email address. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for deciding to go on safari with this reserve. I hope you had a fantastic time, plenty leopard sighting, and please don't hesitate to get in touch.